Welcome back, friends. Yes, we were talking about the fallen angels, and Sarah, I it's not in my notes, and it's that's why we do it together because we just interact better, and I think you all have better information. There is they when we live in a state of grace, we're close to our Lord. Our Lady's mantle surrounds us. The cloak of Saint Joseph is around our home. We have nothing to fear, but the adversary, is legalistic, and he looks for opportunities for him to be able to say, right, he's the adversary. He's always accusing the brethren, and he looks for an opening to come in. And what do those openings look like, my friends? Well, they look like watching shows about vampires or zombies, or it looks like taking our Lord's name in vain, or it looks like any other dabbling with the occult or doing, yes, I'm going to lose some friends, it's doing yoga.
Doing yoga. Absolutely. You just say that. Yeah.
That's right. It's involved with that sort of stuff. And I've heard it. I've heard it for several decades. You can do yoga just for the exercise.
Okay.
I'm here to tell you, I've talked to experts, yoga people. There is a demonic activity behind it, whether you recognize it or not.
Yeah.
And just because you don't, my friends, Satan does. And he uses that as an opportunity. Does that mean everyone who does yoga is possessed? No, I did not say that. I'm saying,
because he can't, let's just be clear. It's because he can't possess someone who is in a state of grace. But that doesn't mean that he can't oppress you.
That's correct.
And it doesn't mean that he can't begin to cloud your intellect and make and start boxing you into corners where you start making bad choices. With yoga, I think that in the same way that we can look at a lot of different literature, children's literature, and things like that that have come down the pike of late years, right? One can probably, a person who is in a state of grace may be able to engage in those types of literature, unaware of what they are. When you learn what they are, however, it seems to me that a person who wants to draw nearer to God will leave behind anything that could be a hindrance. And that's the problem with yoga, is that people begin to, or any of these things, people begin to make attachments to them, which then make them rationalize them in a way that makes it fit with their life, as opposed to changing their life, reordering their life in a way that is directed toward God. And it's the smallest of nuances. There are perfectly legitimate ways that you can relax, or the ways that you can exercise, that do not have names, all of the names that are part of yoga, because that is actually someone else's spirituality. Let's be very honest. That yoga is not just a generic exercise program. That was a means of spirituality for a whole sect of people that used those positions, and the positions are given their names based upon gods that they worshipped. So yes, one can separate it, but the question is, why would you want to? It's not so much if you can. God permits a great deal of things, right? I mean, I was just teaching my class the other day, and I said a good law is one that restricts the least and permits the most. God is the best of lawgivers. He restricts the least and he permits the most. But Satan will box you in, and he will begin to restrict the most and permit the least. And so consequently, when you begin, to me, it's just an issue of prudence. One has to recognize that there are things that may not be in of themselves. It could be a moral neutral, right? But what does it do? Is it a love multiplier? And the numbers are actually getting truly bigger, like as in terms of grace? Or is it a divider, which is Satan? But even when you divide into the negative realm, right, the numbers appear to get bigger. So we really have to be prudent and know whether or not the number's getting bigger, like that slope that's rising, just because it seems to be going up. This one, the one on the XY axis that's to the right of zero, right? Those numbers are getting legitimately bigger. But the ones that are going up on the XY axis to the left are getting legitimately smaller. And so we really have to be cognizant when we are entering into this. Satan, I can't say it enough. Angels don't sleep. Angels don't need time to form a decision. Angels are creatures of now. They live in eternity, and they have the capacity to use your body against you, to drive you to fatigue, to drive you to sorrow, to drive you to terror. They do those things because they don't tire. And these little things that, I mean, there's no real judgment on us in regards to saying that, oh, people who do yoga are bad. No, that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying angels who love you are going to lead you to the best. Demons who hate you with ferocity are going to lead you to the worst. And you must be prudent and recognize that they don't have your best interest at heart.
They sure do not. Angels, and I'll reiterate this, angels know that our time on earth is short. And they know that better than we do. Angels know that God's will for each soul, for me and for you, is our personal path of peace and joy. It is unique to each person. And anything that would detract from God's will, God's path, God's peace, God's joy, needs to be, for me, it needs to be left aside. I have enough, what is it? We're back to Aristotle, right? Everybody wants to be happy. That's the basic drive. And I do. And I know my happiness is with the will of God. And anything that takes me away from his will or clouds my mind, which is easy to do because I have a clouded intellect and a weakened will, and my passions are unruly.
Right.
I don't need help in that, right?
Right. Yeah, so true. No. Yeah. It's just it's to be cautious. It's to be prudent. It's to really to seek out the good. And since, like I said, since God is the most generous of lawgivers, he restricts the least and he permits the most. So to think that the only way that you can exercise is through yoga is to put yourself into a box.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Expect great things from your angels.
Yes, absolutely.
And draw near to them because they love you. Angels are spirits of tested virtue, right? They went through a test just as we went through a test, and they succeeded. We are never alone. For our guardian angels are always close at hand. When we're praying any prayers, our rosary, going to Holy Mass, just quiet conversations with the Lord, asking our Lord, where's the hotel? Where's the parking place? Where are the keys? Where's my child?
For instance, yeah. Mary asked that. Mary and St. Joseph asked that prayer.
That's right. They're there to help us. All right, we're going to pick up now. We're going to take a little turn to look at the wonderful saints in October, the Carmelite saints. To the next time, Fides et Ratio.